Welcome, guys, to the first episode of The Corner to the Corner Office. I am your host, of the show, with my co host, Double J, and executive producer, Double J.
What's up? What's up?
And, we're going to kick it off. We're going to get this episode started, get it started right. First off, we're going to ask a quick question. I'm sure you guys want to know where we get the name The Corner to the Corner Office from. So I'll let Jay talk about it a little bit.
Well, we just hung out on the corner all day. All day. Well, on our corner, we put a rim, a basketball hoop. So we were playing all day on that corner, little hoops.
That is true. We played. There was definitely some big games, some neighborhood games. Blocks versus blocks. We had 153 who was like our arch nemesis, Hillside. 88 really didn't come there that much. Towards the end they did as we got older though. But mainly during the time 88 was like a real rival. We had blocks. We were 149 and you had everybody rep their set. So, ours though was more of a let's keep it fun. Let's have a lot of fun, but let's hang out on the corner and play some ball. And we played a lot of basketball on that corner. What's your memories of that corner, Jay?
A lot of sprained ankles. But good times. Spent a lot of good times. Celebrated a lot of birthdays on that corner. Hung out with a lot of good people. And you learned a lot.
That is for sure. That block was definitely where we all grew up at. And we did a lot of birthdays. We had a lot of arguments, a lot of fights. But, we all grown up from that. Back then, no, that's who we were. We were just kids in the street. Kids that were just, trying to enjoy what they thought was enjoyment. A little ball, a little drinking every now and again, a little smoking. But, that's where we came from. That was our environment. So talk to me. What we got on the set for today?
Well, we got the NBA playoffs coming. We have a little NFL news. But we're going to start off with beef. And I love some beef. Because I'm from the corner, so you've seen a lot of beef through the years. But this beef is in the White House.
Ooh.
With the Tesla god, Elon Musk. And Donald the Dump Trump.
All right, we ain't gonna bash the president right now. We're gonna keep it civil today because we all know that I could go on forever when we're talking about this guy, but we're gonna keep it civil today. So I think right now you got a crazy breakup happening right now. You got two guys that don't know how to use the pause button. That realistically they just they're falling out right now. Right? You got Trump who basically doesn't want Musk in the White House anymore because he feels like he's already used him and abused him. And Musk was upset because Trump basically is trying to get rid of the EV mandate, which after everything he's done, did all of the president's bidding, dismantling everything, violating people's Social Security funds and people's information, and he's did it all. And I'm sure there's some other stuff, some election integrity issues that we're going to see that's going to come out. Because realistically, today, what he just put up there, which is crazy from their argument, did you see that on Twitter? When he wound up telling him that, he said, DJT, the reason why the Epstein files aren't released is because Donald Trump was all over them files. And he said, have a good day, DJT. Now, do you think this relationship could ever be healed?
No, I don't think so. Like you said, he got what he needed out of Musk. And then Trump was supposed to give him something back, but I guess he he's, you know.
Oh, he pulled the Trump. What he always does.
But I guess that he's mad, Elon, right, over something that's in the bills and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
There's a lot of hidden stuff that was in that big ugly bill that he likes to call the big beautiful bill. But do you? I mean, honestly, the major issue is that, like what Musk is saying, is like, listen, you were supposed to do something else, but you're not doing that part, and that's why the whole relationship is really breaking up. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot more of that that's going to come, because I don't think it's over from the fact that Eli making that little Twitter post, but I think that DJT is going to walk on eggshells a little bit, because after that post, I think he's a little nervous, because he said the bomb drops when he said that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how this beef goes. Also, what do you think about what's going on with Russia? Because he's saying that, what did he say? He said it's all Biden's fault that this is happening.
Well, the man takes no responsibility for anything. So, like I said, I don't want to really get on a DJT rant, but I'm going to tell you this. I never met a president that talks out of both sides of his mouth and his asshole at the same time. The guy literally says everything and takes no responsibility for nothing. The guy was sucking up to Putin. Now he's like, what's wrong with Putin? What's happening to him?
Was it bad what he said? He said something along the lines, when two children fight, sometimes you got to let them fight. Is that just bad? What he said, that's bad. That means, like, hey, Russia, do what you want. Keep on fighting, and then he'll step in.
Yeah. Like, well, I think right now what the problem is that Congress right now and everybody's starting to side with Ukraine because of the drone strike that actually crippled 40 of Russia's their planes. They took them out with a drone strike that crippled. I mean, took out 40. We're talking billions of dollars that they just destroyed in Russia. So, when they thought that President Zelensky was on his last leg when he came to the White House, and they thought that he was here to try to beg for U.S. funding. No, he really was just coming to basically pay his respects to the presidency and basically let him know, listen, I'm not caving into this dude. Like, this is our country that we're fighting for. I'm not giving up any more of it. He already stole Crimea from us, and we're not going to let him take any more. So I think right now Congress really is, they need to step in, and they need to actually start to, if they want to eliminate, and stop the war, they're going to have to back Ukraine, because that's the only way it's going to happen. Because playing this whole in the middle, like, oh, Putin is, I don't understand what's wrong with him. Oh, but we need to really help Ukraine. But, why is Putin not stopping? Like, this is what he's doing in the office.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. You got to make a decision. You're the president of the United States. Make a decision.
And he said he had a good relationship with Putin and another guy that's backstabbing him.
Yeah, well, I don't think that you can't have a relationship with a dictator, because, DJT thinks he's a dictator. That's the biggest problem that we have. He's a wannabe dictator, and that's what he's trying to aim at and trying to take, to do it along with, bankrupt the United States of America. But either which way, like I said, I'm not going to digress and rant on this guy, because the rant can go forever.
Yeah, well, all right. Enough of these politics.
Yeah, politics. Let's move on.
Well, let's ask you something, because you put on your TikTok and other platforms you use the show. Mm-hmm. Check them out. Go follow my man. Let's get into a little entertainment. Tory Lanez.
Oh.
So you think this is going to get him out, like all the evidence that's coming out? Well,
listen.
They release him?
I think right now it comes down to Gavin Newsom, right? So the governor of California needs to step in right now. The governor needs to really look at all the evidence. The governor needs to really sit with both lawyers, Megan's lawyer, her team, and then sit with Tory's team and say, hey, listen, where the fuck was all this evidence at that you guys are now, all of this shit's coming out? Why was this suppressed during the court hearings? Because everyone keeps saying, well, why didn't Tory take the stand? Because If you're defending yourself and you didn't do anything, why do you need to take the stand? Right? Because at the end of the day, his reasoning for not taking a stand was he didn't want to get Kelsey in trouble for shooting the gun. Because if he went up there, he would not have lied, and he didn't want Megan in trouble because she lied, and he knew that she lied. So he was waiting for them to basically tell the truth because he's living by the code of the streets. No ratting, which is stupid because fuck that. I would have been singing like a fucking Tweety Bird all the way to the fucking. Listen, this bitch got out the car. They were fighting. Then she pulled out the gun. She started shooting. I would have been singing because I ain't going to jail for nobody. But at the end of the day, this is what these guys do because they try to live this code. And the guy almost got killed in jail. Now all of a sudden, it's all coming to light. You got that website, 36 Hours, with Meg, where the lawyer Luna from Florida, she tells the whole story, dropping evidence, the ring camera showing that the shots that when they went over was bang, 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 and then you got the witness in the street. That Sean Kelly, he comes on there talking to the police officer, and the police officer taking a statement. Where's that statement? That he said, he says from my window, I'm watching the whole thing go down. The two girls were fighting, and the officer says, and where's the short black guy the whole time? Oh, he's in the back seat. So the shots rang out while he was still in the back seat. Come on, man. It's you got to be stupid to not realize that this is a whole cover up. But, what I think where the cover-up is coming from is from the record companies.
The record companies?
It's the record companies. It's from, listen, Rock Nation, Jay-Z, sorry. Hate to put you on blast. Sorry. But. Allegedly. Here's what I think. And it's that you had a superstar who was just about to pop off, Megan Thee Stallion. You have money that you've paid out to her and you didn't get a return on your investment. But you saw that there was talent and there was a lot of black women behind this woman because they loved what she was, her persona.
Yeah.
And you figured that her telling this story that she was abused and she was being treated wrong by Tory Lane and that she got shot by the same guy that's been harassing her and abusing her, that you would now concoct this whole story about she was shot in the foot. Meanwhile, we got on video that she stepped on glass. She said she stepped on glass. Because if you would have taken those shots at that time, if you took them, even if it was bullet fragments, that shit is hot as fuck. Do you not think that she would have been able to have a normal conversation like you and I are having right now with an officer?
No, probably not.
Probably screaming her ass off, right? Talking about, get me to the hospital. Nothing. Well, you know what she said? Am I going to go to jail? Who asked that if they've been shot? Why would you ask that question?
That's true. Why would you ask that?
So that's my thoughts on that, man. I mean, listen. What I believe that happened, the whole thing that this thing did, it made black women argue and fight against black men because black men, we already knew that this thing was all, it was bullshit. And you got all these black women saying that we're always defending guys that we don't know the whole story of what's been going on. It's like the whole Me Too movement. And the reality is this shit was all allegedly orchestrated by Rock Nation Jay-Z. And I think that, listen, at the end of the day, FBI needs to investigate, figure out where this shit really started from. So that's my 2 cents on fucking Megan Thee Stallion, her lying ass.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens with that in the future. How about this case with Diddy? Are they proving anything, or is it just
can't stop, won't stop?
I mean, are there charges there? I mean, I guess because he hired prostitutes, flew in places, abusive to people. But a lot of people got paid from him already.
Yeah.
For everything he did. So I don't know.
Well, not a lot. I mean, I think he still. Well, I mean, yeah, definitely people got paid. The guy that was the videotape of Cassie getting beat in the hotel room. That guy Eric, the Spanish dude. I forget his last name. I don't want to mess it up, so I'm not gonna say his last name. Yeah, that guy got paid. The owner got paid of the hotel. Like listen, all these people that were involved in this were covering up the whole beatdown of Cassie. I said Cassidy, my bad, Cassie. They should all be in jail because if you watch that on tape, there's no way that a grown man, should ever do anything like that to a woman.
Oh no.
Period.
No, never.
Period.
Never.
And then aside from all of that, then you got like just craziness that you're hearing from like listen, I love Cam and Mace, but they had the Punisher on.
Oh, I seen that interview.
Did you see that?
Yeah. But that's what they're doing now. Now the NDAs, all that stuff is gone. So now they're all gonna jump on podcasts and get more money.
Yeah, but what why would you bring up the trauma that this girl has been through? I mean, you're a podcast host, and I respect them both, Mace and Cam, because I love this show. But why would you ask the details of what he did?
They want full detail.
What?
Where were you putting stuff?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it? But they're funny. But I just don't know what the charge. I don't see the RICO. I don't see sex trafficking. Although I guess when you get a prostitute, because it's only legal in Nevada, and you fly them, I guess, out of Nevada, I guess that's trafficking sex. I guess that's what he's going to get charged with.
Yep. And the RICO is going to be the conspiracy to cover it up, right? All the people that he had involved, his assistants, all the people that watched, all the people that knew that they didn't say anything.
Yeah, well, he was, a couple of assistants got on stand and said that he threatened them. They're all
well, that's part of RICO, though. So that's part of it, right? So you're creating this enterprise that no one can speak, no one can talk. So when you threaten people to that point where there's more than one, it becomes an enterprise. Everyone knows, and they still work for them, right? They stay working for them.
Yeah. A couple of them left, came back. Yeah, a lot of people.
Right. And why do they come back for?
Money.
Exactly. So
what is it? Must be the money.
Must be the money that's turning you on. It's sad though. It's sad because you got to separate the artist from the person that's on trial is hard to do for a lot of people. And I think that a lot of people, including those jurors, it's got to be a hard job for them sitting there, because Diddy's been in most of our lives for 25 plus years, right? Creating artists, creating hits, creating
a lot of
music, memories on MTV, MTV Cribs. Like he's done so much. I mean, that we thought there was this whole persona that Diddy was like the man, like he was like bringing hip hop in the East to another level. Right? But meanwhile, the guy was a crook and a damn conspirator, and also a guy that had ample Johnson & Johnson baby oil all over the place. Where
I don't even a lot of baby oil, a lot of ass.
I don't even know.
Look at that. That's free advertisement from Diddy.
I don't even know how you can get that much Johnson & Johnson baby oil. Was there ever a shortage? Do you remember, like when you went to the store?
No.
When there was no Johnson & Johnson baby oil?
No, they have a lot of baby oil.
And I mean,
well, Woody Johnson made a lot of money for a lot of players that he had to pay that made the Jets suck.
Yeah.
Maybe they were at Diddy parties. I don't know. The Jets sucked though, and Johnson & Johnson made a lot of money.
Yes, they did.
Off baby oil.
Ain't that a damn shame? I don't think that anybody's ever had that damn amount of baby oil.
No.
And then how did the staff at the hotels, like when he would call down and say, "I'm out," like what was the call like?
Well, he didn't get it from the hotels. That's where the assistants come in and all that. They had to bring. But the messed up part is, as an assistant, you had to clean up. Imagine that.
Oh my
Acid,
God.
baby oil, semen, all types of stuff all over the place.
Was it true? Like, I mean, I don't think I missed that part. Like of in the testimony where they were talking about saying that he would sometimes, what, a Punisher would be with her. And this is why I said this shit is not good, because when I was watching Cam and Mace, like, they talking about that you would be,
He had special instructions of where to ejaculate,
correct.
and then she would take the ejaculation to Diddy.
But then they said it was like a Tootsie Roll.
No, I mean,
was that?
They called it Stinger Tootsie Roll. I don't know. That's because he had his shit wrapped in tinfoil suits all the time.
Yo, I tell you, that's it's gonna be interesting though what really happens, because right now today they said that the judge may now pull him from the courtroom because he's been staring at the jury.
Oh yeah, I heard that. He's staring at some juries
and nodding his head towards them, like, basically kind of giving them the signs of like, yo, I know you, I got you.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's bad. So they may have to. I mean, if I was the judge, whatever jury he was nodding at, I'd be like, all right, we have to pull that juror off and bring one of the alternates in.
Yeah, might have to do that. But we'll just see.
Because he may be compromised.
Yeah, it's a long trial.
It's long.
Long trial. Ask you a question. What's the last thing you stood in line for? I mean, a big line. Because the Nintendo Switch 2 came out. People were standing in line for it. The tariffs did not affect this. Mm-hmm. They held back on it, but it released. What's the last thing you stood on a big line for? A movie, a game? The last thing I did was a game, a Madden game. I think it was Madden 25. Now I just download them all to my Xbox.
Last thing I stood in line for, long line, right?
Yeah, long line. Like you're waiting for like a release of a Jordan, a pair of sneakers, a movie like Superman when you were younger.
I think the longest line I'd ever stood in was when I got
a nightclub.
I got my my 11s, the Jordan 11s.
You stood in the line. Okay.
Stood in line for those. That was the one with the big box tower.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The baby blue ones, North Carolina blue ones. Because that was like, when I seen the color, I was like, yo, I gotta get those. I stood in line for like 4.5 hours.
That's a pretty long wait.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago too.
Yeah.
When I was able to do that shit. Today I ain't doing that shit. Fuck that.
No, you just pre-order, get it mailed to the house.
That's it.
Let's get into a little sports. First, the NFL, they got OTAs. That's nothing's happening there, but the big signing. Aaron Rodgers has signed with the Steelers.
The Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers, who was the worst quarterback in Jets history. Just about.
No, he had 20 touchdowns last year. He didn't play winning football.
But he's a Hall of Famer, though, right?
He is a Hall of Famer.
They thought he was going to be the guy who was bringing them to the promised land.
Yeah, he got injured that one year.
Yeah, what about last year, though? What about last year?
There was no steam in the building no more. He got the coach fired. Once you get coaches fired, it just goes down.
The dude
it's not basketball.
Correct.
Where you could get a coach fired and you could roll your way to the playoffs still.
And he got a good coach fired. Different. He got a good coach fired.
Yes. I'm glad he got him fired. I'm a 49er fan, so Salah's back with the defense. But one is gonna wreak havoc on the NFL this year.
But that's how stupid the Jets are. And I'm not bashing Jet fans and their team, but I'm going to bash the Jet fans and their team because that motherfucking owner and the GMs and whoever runs that organization, it should be like charity. Give it away. Do a raffle. I bet you can raffle off that franchise, Shay, to somebody that knows sports, that even talks about sports, that can run that organization better than how it's been running the last 20 years. I bet you.
Yeah, there are probably some good people out there to run it. But they got hope this year. They got my man Aaron Glenn. We'll see how it turns around. By the way, first, time out. What happened? Why closed? Cool down phone. Why it's too hot? Yeah,
I'm
all right,
pausing it.
man.
I paused it. All right, we are back. And we were talking about the Jets and how that franchise definitely needs. He said Jay thinks that they should have an okay season. He thinks with.
Yeah, they got Alan Glenn. They have a new start to the season. See how once the first thing he did was get rid of Aaron Rodgers, and that's the right thing to do. When you start, you get rid of all the headaches. You bring in your people and see if it works.
What do you think about? Obviously, KC didn't win last year, but what do you think about them in the AFC this year?
KC,
Yeah,
oh, that'd be fine. They just got line got to be a little better, and Pacheco will be there. So
yeah,
it'd be
that's right. He
better.
got hurt last year,
Yeah,
and I think
and we'll go over a lot of the NFL when it gets closer. But let's talk about the real thing that's going to happen. It starts tonight. Who you got in the NBA finals?
honest. So let's look at both teams. So we got OKC, Indiana, right?
Yes.
Matchup for matchup. So if I go guy by guy, I got SGA over Halliburton. Skills.
Well, you see, that's what everybody do. They go from the point guard to the point guard, right? It's we're going to take SGA no matter what, but SGA goes against Siakam because that's their scorer.
Yep.
Siakam's the scorer. He gets 20 shots.
Yeah.
What he does with them, one night 39, one night 15. You don't know. So I would take SGA. Then you go to the second option, which is J Dubs.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Halliburton is the second option. Halliburton is a little different. He'll score about 20, but they give him 12 assists. They get him great shots, push the ball with their fast pace.
Mm-hmm.
So I still give J Dubs a slight edge over Halliburton.
Okay.
And then it comes down to Turner and Chad, right?
Yeah, Holmgren.
Holmgren, which I think Chad is better than.
I do too. I think that the younger guy, Chet, is definitely much more capable, and he's more consistent because Turner has not been consistent all year. This is probably one of his worst years when you look at his regular season stat line. Probably one of his worst years.
Yeah, well, he was playing third option in this offense, and then a couple other guys get off every other night. Matherins and Nemhard and Neesmith and these guys. But what they need to happen, it needs to be a good series for the NBA.
Yeah, I don't know if it can be though. I mean, this is my thought process behind it. I think that OKC has too much firepower. I think they have too much consistency. I think that they have much more hunger. I think Indiana going through the series with the Knicks, it kind of showed that where their weakness was as a team. With turnovers, inconsistency at the free throw line.
Can't rebound.
Right? So when you look at that compared to the OKC Thunder team, I look at the Thunder team being a couple notches better.
Yeah, I could see that. I got the Thunder in 5, but do you think that every game would be like a blowout? Like this ain't 10 points tonight. I mean, 10 points is a lot.
I think they're gonna beat them by 20 points tonight.
Whoa!
And let me tell you why. Because OKC front court, when you got Hardenstein and Holmgren in there together against Turner and Siakam. If Siakam doesn't see, it's all about Siakam shooting well.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have a 60%, 70% from the floor shooting, they're gonna get blown out because he don't rebound.
So He needs to score about 23 points.
He has to.
Or more a night.
He has to. Because if he doesn't, who else is going to give it to you? I mean, listen, is Nemhard going to give it to you? Probably not the way that the Knicks did, because the Knicks couldn't play no defense in their backcourt.
No defense.
But they're playing against a team that plays defense. This team is going
a lot of different varieties of defense.
Exactly. They're gonna be all up in your chest.
It might be up in all the way.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna let them just keep coming off these pick and rolls and being wide open.
And they're slow down their fast pace breaking.
Absolutely, because they play full court defense.
They're not playing the Knicks with two trees in there that couldn't move down the court that fast.
Yeah, they had quicksand on their boots, on their sneakers.
All right, so the series will go.
I think 5.
5.
I think Indiana gets a game
at home.
At home,
yeah.
They get one of those games at home, and it probably won't be game 3. It's probably gonna be game 3, and then game 4 they're gonna come out and get spanked again.
Oh wow! All right. Question: since we got the finals, they talk about this face of the league. Oh, who's the face of the league? To me, the face of the league is whoever the people choose. Like, first they thought it was going to be Zion. That guy just flopped out.
He's a bum.
John Morant, too many guns in his hands, so they don't want him as a face. He lost all his advertisements.
He's a gangster.
You know? So, do you see a face of the league, or should the NBA rely on just teams? You know, good rivalry games. You know, like Pistons, Knicks, Indiana, Knicks. I mean, those games are going to get the ratings next year.
I think they're searching too hard for a face for the league. I think that the face of the league comes automatically.
Yes.
I think that, no matter what, they didn't go searching for Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan. They didn't go searching for LeBron. LeBron was LeBron.
Yes.
Right? So.
And well, Michael was not a first round draft pick.
Correct.
But he started showing it. Even though he wasn't winning championships in the age, but he was kicking ass.
Correct.
Kicking ass. LeBron came in. They said he was the chosen one, and guess what? He was the chosen one. He started kicking ass.
Absolutely.
Kicking ass, commercials, Sprites and Cokes and Gatorade, and they were all over the place. And that's how and winning.
Yep.
Making shots, making plays on the highlight reels. I mean, that's how it's done.
I think that's what it comes down to, right? So it's like, we don't look for who's the player of the league. Why are you looking for the player, the face of the NBA? The face of the NBA will show who's going to be the face of the NBA. You know what I mean? Like, that person is going to be the person that's going to be not afraid to do public speaking, not afraid to show the other side of them, not afraid to be doing charitable moments, not afraid to be talking to the media when they lose.
That's true.
He's going to be the guy that
and they're going to relate to the younger people.
Correct.
When I was growing up, Jordan became the man, and I liked Jordan because that's when I started getting in basketball. I seen Larry and Magic. I started watching it, and then this guy came out of nowhere and flew out of the gym. Yep. He was flying every night, every time. ESPN just came out, and this guy was just all over it.
That's right.
Him, like a Dominique, like these guys were just flying out the thing. So you watched. You wanted to see those matchups.
Absolutely. And today, I think you don't have the way that they used to set up the matchups back in the day, where it was, Boston's beating LA, and they would talk about it for a whole week. Like, that LA's going to Boston. Like, there's a 5-game series, and, let's see who's going to get the best of it when they come to Boston for these 3 games. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't hype it up like that anymore.
No. Well,
it's like, to me, that's what the NBA is lacking. It's lacking that creating rivalries and talking about the rivalry.
Well, what happens is guys move too much around the league, right? On big games, like when you're going to see a Giannis place a LeBron LeBron doesn't play that game. You know, sometimes that hurts. See the when LeBron played Steph, best ratings for a Christmas game because it was two superstars going at it.
Yep.
You know, well, we'll see. The NBA still is going to have its hardcore fans. They just got to draw in the younger guys. So someone has to come along that they relate. You see, that's why I said John Morant. Everybody was relating with him.
Yes.
And then what happened? He gets suspended a whole year. Then he gets injured.
What about Anthony Edwards though? I mean, other than him having a bust in the well, listen, everybody's gonna have a bust. So I don't like that they putting all this weight on the one kid. That like he had a bad game and a bad series. Listen, it happens.
Well, as a lead dog, he got to be more aggressive.
Correct.
And that's also come down to coaching.
That's the coach. It's not just him.
You gotta go get it, and the veterans around him,
and it's the players too. Yeah. The players saying, "Listen, we got to feed you the ball," but that comes from the coach and also saying, "Listen, this is the guy. This is the go-to guy. This is who we need to go to."
They run plays where he's getting the ball on the move or whatever.
Exactly.
And then it makes the team better because then you start focusing on him.
100%.
And then you could kick the ball and other guys can make shots.
Correct. There was no identity in that series, and I think that
no.
But I think him as a player, as a person that has an overall good demeanor, I look forward to seeing him in the next couple of years, what he can do.
Yes.
If he could be, because he relates to the younger kids too, if he could be that guy.
Yeah, that's true. But I will tell you this, the face of the league, the reason there were two good guys as the face of the league, they were from the East Coast. 7 o'clock time slot on the East Coast. Michael Jordan, Chicago, LeBron James, Cleveland, and then Miami.
Yeah.
You know, Kobe started picking it up on the West Coast, but he wasn't even as big as those guys statewide as he was overseas. They love him overseas.
Yeah.
China and Italy, they love Kobe because he could speak all those languages.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we had Allen Iverson on the East Coast.
We had AI, baby. AI was doing it up. And he was loved by the kids, AI.
Yeah. Because he related until they made him wear suits.
Exactly.
But we'll see. Let's see. So we got OKC in 5. We both think that.
Yep.
Oh, and what do you think about the Knicks firing Tibbs?
You know, the problem with them firing Tibbs is that how can you fire a guy that was the only guy in the last 15, 20 years to take you to the finals?
Yeah, he built up that team. I mean, they got Jalen Brunson. We didn't know he was going to be this good with Julius Randle. And then
he made Brunson who he is.
Yeah,
Tibbs.
He let him
play.
Let him go ball hawk and dominance over there.
But listen, the Knicks would have never known what they had because they were bitching like, why we get Jalen Brunson? Remember that when they first got him?
They thought he was just going to be a decent point guard pass, score about 18 points. They didn't know he was going to be this good, this clutch for them. And I think it's kind of bad because you have one team that got knocked out last year. You rebuild the team because you got all new faces.
Yeah, you got Cat
and your starting lineup, your bench, and everything. And you give him 1 year, and he was, he ran into a problem. Yes, he made a couple of mistakes. I would have never played two bigs against that team because they ran too much. You need more of a defensive wings out there.
But that's
because they don't post up. They couldn't. Correct. So you had to choose between Mitchell or Cat to play.
But that's what coaching errors. That's why listen, coaching errors happen, right? You're trying to figure it out with the team that you have.
Yeah.
Right. So you got Robinson, who he's a dog.
Yeah.
Right. The guy rebounds.
Win one.
Yeah. The guy's just a beast. And then you got Cat, who.
Well, he's a big guy. So
he's just
I see a lot of these guys say, "Oh, he moves like a WNBA player and all this," but he plays center, so he's not out there stick a Siakam that's more of a small forward.
Correct. And I think this is where Tibbs went wrong, was because both of those bigs on the floor together allowed a faster, more dynamic Indiana in those positions to outplay his bigs.
And Josh Hart was like a turnstile at the subway.
Where was
you
he?
Just jump over that thing, nobody's stopping you. Man, there's no cops around. Just keep on going. Free rides all day long.
Yeah, Josh Hart let me down, man. That was my dog, but
he got dogged.
He got dogged out, man. I mean, literally, if there was, like you said, if there was nobody paying attention to the turnstile, man, it was a free ride.
Free ride.
Who else? Who else didn't do so hot in that last?
Well, they just didn't play good as a team.
I mean, you had Bridges, who I think Bridges is a player that he needs to be on the court.
Because you need to give him more, like, let him get the ball a little more. There's
100%.
too much Jalen at that.
100%.
Like, when you seen it wasn't working, you got to go to your second option.
Exactly. And Bridges
your
is a better
secondary offense. That's like your third option. Him and Cat could have ran pick and rolls or something, but.
Yep. Yeah, so I don't like the fact that they fired Tibbs, because I think Tibbs.
No, I don't either.
I think he's a good coach, and it's like, who do you bring in next?
Well, that'd be the big surprise. We'll probably be talking about that when Jalen's father gets the job.
Well,
him or Jay Wright really make it Villanova.
I I heard things like Mike Malone. Mike
Malone's just like Tibbs.
Of course.
Two tough guys, they do it their way.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, why are you going to go from the same guy? You basically bring back the same guy.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think they're ever going to unblacklist Mark Jackson?
Ooh.
Do you think that...
is it from the NBA? That's why he's not coaching?
I think it's...
He was a good coach in Golden State.
He was the reason why they won.
He was good on ESPN too, and he's just not... I seen him doing a commercial during the NBA.
Why is he blacklisted?
I don't know. And God we trust, but sometimes when we talk about God, they don't want to hear it.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I feel like, they just blacklisted my man because, he always talked about God. He always thanked the NBA for his opportunities. I don't understand why he got blacklisted, even though he was not bitter for getting a raw deal in Golden State, because he got that raw deal. That deal was a bad deal when they fired him in Golden State.
Yeah.
Because he built that team. He coached the team. He put those players where they all belong. You talk to Clay. You talk to Steph Curry. You talk to Draymond. You talk to all these guys. They all say.
But I guess Steve Kerr took them to the next level, and Kevin Durant, super team. Never gonna see that again in the NBA.
Never. That was ridiculous. That was four guys on the starting floor and then they had Looney. But Looney was like the.
Oh, they could have put anyone.
They could put anybody there. Yeah, you could have been out there. They would have said, just run up and down.
That's it. All right. You got any questions before we head out? What do you think?
I think that I can't wait to watch this game, this playoff game, the first game, and maybe we can check back in at halftime and
we could do that
and give an update of what we think is really happening.
All right, so we'll see you then.
All right, halftime from the corner to the corner office. We is out.
Later.